right, we are back live in the studio. Thank you for joining us here at TARTLEcast. By the way, if you are not a part of TARTLE and you're just a regular human being like me and Jason, sign up, vault your data, get paid for sharing it only if you want to do so. It is inevitably your future, and it's a great way to store your data and take an ethical approach to data sharing.
Tartle.co.
TARTLE.co. So with that, Jason, I want to go over how we've seen, with the work we've had with our partners. Let's talk about real intelligence in action. Can we talk about some of the challenges in industries and some of the solutions they can find using Tartle technology?
Yeah, we've had several healthcare companies. One of the struggles that they've had is diagnostic models. And then, what is the accuracy in real world settings? And then not just actually in real world settings, but the accuracy in test environments. So a test environment was amazing, and then real world was shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And, some of the solutions to this, I think, is if we integrated Tartle's Real Intelligence API, we could collect direct feedback from practicing physicians, not only the practicing physicians, but then we could gather zero-party data from patients about symptoms and medical history context, and then we close that feedback loop.
Yeah, so in the medical industry, it's really, really difficult to get your hands on people's health records. It's a whole process because it's a third party requesting it from a third party. Can share their medical records any which way they like. So you could be in the healthcare industry and said, hey, I need diagnostic data. I need doctor's notes. I need health records. I need audio files from appointments. You can come to Tartle to source that in the healthcare industry. You're going to get good engagements, and you can even use that technology to connect directly with patients in your plan. If you have bad engagement rates for state-required data collection efforts, maybe 1% to 2% engagement, boost that up. Use Tartle Tech. Get that feedback from your patients. And if you're trying to train models in the healthcare industry, you're trying to create new products or apps, you're going to need rich contextual data, and it has to become permission from people. And one of the biggest unlocks Tartle has for the healthcare industry is that the healthcare data comes directly from the patient.
Yes.
They have every right to share it to you. And that's a massive, massive unlock. There's no more data scrubbing. There's no more only 3-digit zip codes, not 5, like none of that. So that all goes away.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that people don't understand, especially when it comes to this, that we've had conversations when we talk with healthcare, is there's 2 things that happen when you implement this. One, you develop physician trust in AI.
Oh, yeah.
Because the physician's seeing that they're getting consent from the patient.
Which is huge.
And then vice versa, you're getting patient consent. So what type of trust did you just build? And how valuable is that?
And you did it all with accessing data. That data was that unlock to create this bridge. And now it's going to become more normalized in that world. Physicians will want to adopt your technology.
Yeah, because that's the problem now. None of them want to even have a conversation about this.
No.
They don't trust it. They don't want to.
They're 20 miles away from it. A doctor has to go in and say, can I do this to you? Do you consent to this? They've lived in that world.
Right.
The data must match that for also how it's being sourced. And you can have those valuable unlocks if you're in the healthcare industry, trying to train your AI models. You're required to do it. Whatever it may be, Tartle can help you with finding a solution.
Yeah, and you're not only just your chief data officers, but those in the medical industry. We've had these conversations over and over again, and when the unlock happens, it's funny in the Zoom call when we have this, and then they kind of connect to shit, the consent. That's the key. And then
we can do this.
Yeah, it's so funny when you watch that,
because many of you, who listen to this have been in a world where this hasn't been possible.
Right.
And then we show up and say, hey, here's what's possible. And you're like, no. And then they're like, whoa. It goes from doubting Thomas to being like, absolutely, give me the torch. We're doing this all day long. So what do we have next? Financial services?
Yeah, financial services. And we've talked to some major financial institutions, and AI fraud detection is huge, and having high false positive rates. And that can cause customer friction. I've experienced this myself.
Oh, it sucks.
American Express. Yeah.
Well, yeah. When also think about facial recognition they did in New York City that was legally targeting Muslim people.
Yes.
It's the same sort of thing that happens here in fraud. It's all these ideas of their model, and the data that they've brought in is putting in false flags.
Yes.
Okay, or false positives. And what you're going to find here is that if you ask people, this is cool. If you start to collect data on how people lie or how they would be fraudulent,
yes,
you're starting to train the model. You're starting to see a lot of cool things, but much of the fraud detection stuff deals with time on page, where you're clicking, how you're scrolling, how you're actually interacting with it. But just because of the way I interact with something doesn't necessarily make someone fraudulent.
Yes.
Some people could be inquisitive.
Right.
Sometimes when I use a page, that is in like financial services, because I'm inquisitive and looking around, I get marked as fraudulent. Or because I try to use data privacy practices that are good for me, like a VPN, I get knocked. I get blocked. But that doesn't seem right. Again, it lacks that context. So you can actually reduce these false positives. You can get that data from people. You can help them train your systems to be more robust and accurate when something is truly fraudulent.
Yeah, and it's more than just transactional patterns. A lot of this detection accuracy, just the detection accuracy alone, is what's causing the rub or the friction.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's and some models are as low as 20% accurate.
And then what happens? You frustrated your customers.
80%, 80-20 rule, baby.
Yeah. And how many people actually want to follow up with you after to go through the fact that your model,
flagged the transaction.
Flagged me.
Yeah.
PayPal does it all the time.
Oh, all the time, bro. They're the worst. I have to deal with them and contractors and stuff.
It's
like
completely
that.
underdeveloped.
And it's I had it happen this morning. They wanted my social security number.
Yeah. How many times do I got to give you a social security number?
Yeah, exactly.
And I should be permissioning to you when choosing when I give it to you. And if you want any more data to help train your system, ask me for it.
Yes.
Give me a PayPal benefit.
Why am I giving you my social security number for free? You know what I mean? It's like the list goes on and with that. And then let's finally get into some e-commerce.
This is
because we have a lot of online retailers. What's even getting bigger, like TikTok Shop has become this live shopping. It's like QVC. Have you heard about this?
You're educating me. TikTok has a shop.
So TikTok Live now. Okay. Remember how QVC? Remember Grandma?
Oh, you watch it late at night.
And
the jewels are spinning on the table.
That is happening on TikTok now, and it is taking over billions of dollars. People are going crazy because you got to think how many content creators are getting creative with this live shopping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
So it's not QVC. And it's cool because it's like individual content creators are creating this live shopping, but I mark my words, within a year, Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about this too. Within a year, it's going to be the number one thing.
I don't really. Can you help me understand this a little bit more with the live shopping? What do you mean?
Yeah. So we could go. So let's say we wanted to go on to. Let's say we had a product, right? And we wanted to go on TikTok. We could do what we're doing right now and show the product and talk about the product, and then people would start buying it.
And do I get an affiliate from it?
No. You get all the money from it. You're just
you're saying if it's my product.
You're just using the platform, and then TikTok is drawing people to these live.
Comprende.
Like you're scrolling, and then all of a sudden there's a video that's live.
Thank you for the education.
Yeah. And so it's the same as QVC, but
it's QVC. It's QVC on TikTok.
It's more niche-y, as far as it's not telling you like what you should buy. It's saying you've looked at these other things. Their algorithms like TikTok, you need to come to us. We need to have a conversation with you. So e-commerce, online retailer recommendation engines. Most of them are single digit, maybe 20% click-through rates.
Horrible.
Despite using extensive historical third-party data for decades.
What does it tell you?
What's that tell you?
People don't want to buy the same shit.
No.
You don't actually know what they want to buy. You are
It's also
guessing.
that data that you spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this shit.
It's not doing you any good.
What's that percentage?
Yeah. Nice job. Imagine all your losses that you have to accrue back. Think about that.
Well, it makes you look like an idiot to the consumer too.
Yeah.
Because I get this all the time. And it's so funny. It's like these major e-commerce retailers will send me a women's email.
Oh, I get them all the time.
It's like, I don't want to call out one, Nordstrom, which I like. And we purchase a lot of stuff from Nordstrom. And it's like, why would you send me?
Dude, Lululemon.
Send it to my girlfriend.
Guys, I don't want yoga pants.
I have no desire.
Yeah. And I'm certainly not buying them for my wife because I'll buy the wrong one.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
I'm not doing
like shoes and all that stuff. Here's my credit card. Go do it on your own. But don't send me high heels.
Stop advertising to me.
I'm not who's the FBI guy that did that? Hoover.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not J. Edgar Hoover.
But think about it. It's lacking context.
Yes.
You don't really know what I want to purchase, why I'm purchasing it, who it's being purchased for, and when I intend to purchase.
Yes.
All those things are wrong. That's why less than 1 in every 5 hits. It's usually worse than that for you.
Well, the cool part is TARTLE has a solution. It's called TARTLE Data Vault Connect.
Oh my gosh.
And it authenticates user feedback.
This is so cool. Guys, on your e-commerce website, when people sign in, you can offer them the option to sign in with TARTLE, and that'll give you a stream where you can actually source all this unique feedback and rich contextual insights and train your model or give them products they actually care about.
And all of it's consented.
It's completely consented.
Yeah.
You can put on your website really free. And guess what? Anytime they monetize their data, when you put this button on your website, you get money.
So here's what happens that we've seen with e-commerce sites. Click-through rates are increased. Cart abandonment is reduced. Yeah. Customer lifetime value That's
up,
huge.
Up.
That's
Not only
huge.
rev share with Tartle, up.
Yeah, you
What
get
does
a
it
rev
cost
share.
you? 0. All you got to do is put it on your site.
And product return rates decrease.
It's awesome.
That's a huge thing. I was talking with somebody the other day, and they were talking about their sales reps. And then their big deal was, their sales reps are being too pushy. And so what's happening is
people buy it and bring it back.
And people are buying it and bring it back.
Makes sense, because they didn't really actually want to buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can have that conversation with the consumer. I want to get into, lastly, media companies and content personalization.
Yeah.
Seasonal trending content. How do you adapt to that?
You can only do it by actually getting data directly from people. That's the only way to do it. If you can connect with their data streams, their context, that's the only way you can adapt. There was a business that came out 7, maybe 8 years ago. And what they wanted to do was use early machine learning to say that if Jason has a color preference, you're wearing a red shirt today. If Jason has a color preference of red, I'm only showing him ads that are red. So it would take any sort of normalized ad and then change the color, because the color was enough to get you to click on it because it's Jason's favorite color. That was the earliest days of this like custom ad, whatever it is, like adaptation. But now you can go crazy. You can have the most perfectly targeted ad with colors, flavors, behaviors, people, anything you want, because you can source that data directly from Tartle, know the person that it's being sourced from if you choose to do so, and then deliver that ad back to them directly.
Yes.
It's not a crapshoot anymore.
Yeah, and I want for you guys that are out there, we're going to close in this, the technical implementation. So what's timeline, integration timeline? Average implementation time is 2 to 3 weeks?
2 to 3 weeks. And we've seen that our best partners do it in under 2. So I leave that up to you.
Real-time human feedback, system setup, 1 week, 2
Not,
weeks?
even less than that. Because if you know what you want to source, typically a lot of it's already available on Tartle. You can just put those requests in through the API and it already starts coming back to you.
Initial data collection period can be 7 days to 4 weeks, depending on what.
Absolutely. Depending on what you're looking for. Is it super bespoke? Like, what do you want?
First significant model improvements, we usually see 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. And when you're going to train a model or start something up, by integrating with Tartle, say you use Data Vault Connect, right? If you're a commerce system, if you're B2C facing, but you're also training AI and you're using real intelligence, both of those things kind of feed into each other, and it's going to give you a massive benefit, because not only are you tending to what the consumer needs, meeting them with trust and consent, and you also get a rev share from it. But when you come into Tartle, you have this really unique pipeline that you can always feed back into and reintegrate with these people. And if they leave your site, you can still get data from them on Tartle. Why did they leave? Why are they shopping somewhere else? 100%. You don't know anything other than the fact that your competitor is making more money than you from the same customer. Now you finally have that insight.
Yeah, it's so true. Technical requirements, API calls, 10,000 to 50,000 per day, data storage 1 to 5 gigabytes per month, real-time processing capability for
like
user
all
feedback,
this,
all the usual stuff.
What Jason is saying in his diatribe over here of quantitative measures, Tartle can scale to any size that you need. That's what it's designed for. So if you want to go big, do it. If you want to stay small, no problem. We can help you service it.
And last thing, privacy and compliance. We're 100% GDPR and CCPA compliant. End-to-end encryption for all data transfers.
And on top of that, there is an audit trail, a legitimate audit trail for permission and consent of that data. The smallest piece of data.
Granular.
Yeah. It's incredible. No other place does this. You can bring this back to any legal team, anybody that brings you into court. If there's questions about it in the future, and say, here's the audit trail. Here's the proof. Here's when these people consented to doing it. Here are the signatures for it. All those things are in place.
It's dynamic. It's evolving.
Yeah.
It's the ecosystem.
It's the ecosystem of the future.
Be a part of it.
Be a part of it. We are all super happy for our partners that have recognized it and the light bulb went on. And we are looking forward to more of our future partners having that light bulb turn on for them. Thank you very much for joining us today on TARTLEcast.